Yeah, I just don't. I haven't from day one been into the fact of, talking about private things that went on in the royal family when they were a part of it. And the thing is, it's just their point of view. We haven't had the other point of view. And it's like, don't bring it to the public. Nobody wants to know about it. Every family has problems. Keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
And I just think that from day one, they've handled it very badly. And you know what? They wanted their freedom. They have it. But they want more than just their freedom. They want to be two very important people politically.
Yeah, but they want the royal...
Okay.
Take it easy. But I think if they keep poking their nose into American and political affairs and the Constitution and so on, it's not going to end well. I can tell them that. I want to talk to you also about...
It's like I was just going to say, he's only been here 2 minutes and he wants to run the country. It's like, hold on.
It's completely absurd. Talking about Dave Chappelle. So Dave Chappelle, I don't know if you'd be following this, but he did this big Netflix special. He told some trans jokes. Some people thought it was funny, including trans people. Other people, including other...
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
Trans people hated it, wanted him cancelled. Netflix stood by him. But he was due to play in a gig in Minneapolis yesterday, and they cancelled it, the organisers, at the last minute, and issued this ridiculous, pompous statement about how, they hadn't been aware that it wouldn't be a safe space for employees and so on. What do you make of it? It comes at a time when John Cleese actually has come out with an interesting comment about the threat to comedy at the moment from this cancel culture. Here's what John Cleese had to say.
A lot of comedians now are sitting there, and when they think of something, they start thinking, could I get away with that? I don't think so. So-and-so got into trouble when he said that, or she said that. You see what I mean? And that's the death of creativity.
And I think look, I'm not a big fan of John Cleese, to be honest, these days. He's a bit of a miserable old bore, and he can't stand me, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh, I love him.
Wait for it.
Love him.
Well, we'll agree to disagree about him. I'll probably get on fine with him, actually. If you're watching, John, come and do an interview. But here's the statement that really made me puke. The Dave Chappelle show tonight at First Avenue has been cancelled. To staff, artists in our community, we hear you. We are sorry. We know we must hold ourselves to the highest standards. We let you down. We're not just a blank box with people in it. We understand First Avenue is not just a room, but meaningful beyond our walls. The team and you have worked hard to make our venues the safest spaces in the country.
Stop it.
And we'll continue with that mission. We believe in diverse voices and the freedom of artistic expression, but in honouring that, we lost sight of the impacts it would have. I mean, what a load of old guff. Right? What they really mean is, we are going to decide what you're allowed to find funny. That's it.
It's ridiculous. It's, again, a case of freedom of speech. This man is a brilliant writer, a brilliant comic, and when you watch him, he just doesn't tell silly jokes one after the other to try and offend. It always goes along with the story, and there's always the beginning, middle, and end, and it always comes around to, well, what do you think about it? This is what I think, and he...
Wait for it.
...does it superbly.
The point is,
funny.
he's not
Listen,
transphobic.
If we can't...
He's not transphobic, but he thinks you should be able to tell... You should be able to tell jokes about trans people, like we tell jokes about everybody. And actually, they're funny as jokes.
Of course.
Here it comes.
And the thing is, if there are many trans people that he offends, it's very, very simple. Don't watch.
Yes.
Turn it off. Go and watch something else.
Fact.
But there are also millions of people that love him, that do want to watch him. I'm one of them. I think he's a genius.
Oh, no question.
But the thing is, it's like, it's simple. Why do people make such a big deal about, you know what he does, you know what he's famous for, don't watch it. Simple.
I think if we can't tell inappropriate jokes anymore, you and I are going to have to go and live on a desert island somewhere with Ozzy.
Oh, God, we might as well live in bloody Russia. I mean, if you can't laugh, right? you've got to laugh, you know, you've got to have irony. You've got to laugh with the state of the world right now. If you can't go out or watch something at home that's funny, what are we going to do?
Do you know what I read the other day was that there's lots of WhatsApp groups now that everybody's on where inappropriate jokes are told because it's in secret. And I thought, how incredible, what a damning indictment of our society. In a way, it is a bit like Russia or North Korea.
Okay.
Or China, where people feel they have to go underground to crack a joke in case somebody's upset and you end up losing your job or your livelihood.
Exactly. I mean, all the time people send me things and I'm like, where the
Wait for it.
hell did you find that? You know, and some of them are funny, some of them aren't, but it's like, who the hell is making all this stuff? But some of it is very funny.
Well, back in June, Sharon Osbourne told her fellow Talk TV panellists that her husband, rock legend Ozzy, needed major surgery, and it was an operation which would determine the rest of his life. And she hasn't left his side since. But over the weekend, Ozzy was spotted for the first time as leaving hospital out and about with Sharon and the kids in LA. I'm delighted to say Sharon joins me now live. Sharon, good evening to you.
Good evening, my darling.
Now, I've spent the last 20 minutes boasting about the fact it was going to be you and Ozzy, and he's done a runner.
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
He's a bastard tonight, let me tell you. Now he's back walking, he's a diva. Before it was like, oh, you know, the nicest guy, you know, please help me do this, do that.
Okay.
Don't want to do it. I'm not doing this. I'll do this. So he's become a diva again.
Well,
he thinks he's bloody Beyonce.
Well, I quite like the fact she's a diva again because it means he's healthy again, at least. And he's been, let's be honest,
I know.
Ozzy's
Stop it.
been through a hell of a series of health battles, hasn't he? He was diagnosed with a form of Parkinson's. He had a rough bout of COVID, and then he had this surgery on his, I think, on his neck, right? It's all, and does this all go back, Sharon?
Okay.
Does it all go back to when he had the terrible quad bike accident?
Part of it, yes, part of it, because then he had another serious fall on his neck, and then it affected his spine because the spinal column was trapped. So it's just been, it's like a domino effect. You do one thing medically, then another thing happens and another, and it's just been it's 3.5 years.
You serious?
Of just nightmare. But you know what? There's light now, and he's walking great. He's got no more pain. He's a pain in my ass because he's now a diva, but I don't mind.
But he's good.
And,
how is he feeling?
Very good question.
Other than being a
good.
diva, how's he feeling?
He's doing good because there's no pain. The last operation fixed all the pain that he'd been in for, 3.5 years. So that way, it's like lifting, a huge weight from him. So, he's busy doing promotion for his record that's coming out in September, and he's loving life right now.
Is he going to be able to perform live, tour again, do you think?
Very good question.
Yes, next year, definitely.
Well, that's amazing.
Yes.
Given where he was, he must be thrilled, huh?
Oh, it's like a miracle, Piers, and he's like, his song Iron Man. He really is Iron Man. I mean,
Oh my God!
He comes back over and over again.
Yeah. He does.
He's unbelievable.
I mean, I know it's been really rough for you because we've had a few, quite intense conversations in the last couple of years about Ozzy's various health things. You're unbelievably close to each other. You were on the other side of the world a couple of times when he was, taken with COVID, and then he had to have the surgery and stuff. It's been rough for you, Sharon. How have you dealt with it all?
Oh, it's not just me.
Wait for it.
It's the whole family because, you're always on edge like this. Every cough, every time he would stumble trying to walk, I mean, you're just on edge. But it's just behind it.
That doesn't make sense.
And now all we can do is just, hope and look into the light, and everything's going to be fine. And listen, 10 days ago, Jack had his baby girl.
Yes.
And so that's brought such joy. Wow! And Kelly's pregnant.
It's
so what
fantastic.
Could be
The
better?
Osborne breeding factory is alive and well.
It is. It is. We're back in business.
Are they basically breeding the next generation of wild
Here it comes.
rock chicks and blokes?
I hope so. But
Well, look, please send Sharon, send
You
them
know-
all my very best, won't you? Ozzy, Kelly, and Jack. I want to talk to you if I can, just about a couple of things in the news, because we miss you on the talk. Can't
Okay.
wait for you to be back on that. I want to talk to you about a couple of things. One, your reaction to this extraordinary story of that Diana interview that we all remember so well, and the appalling fallout where it turns out Martin Bashir just basically forged documents to persuade people around Diana
Yes.
that all sorts of stuff was going down, including Tiki Leadbert, the boy's nanny, having an affair with Charles, having an abortion after being impregnated by his son, all complete nonsense, but all designed to get into Diana's
Stop it.
paranoid mind so that she did the interview. What do you think of it?
yes, I mean, it's horrendous. You would never believe that this could have gone on with the BBC. That, their credibility, they're, the biggest news
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
agency in the world. Everything they do is, perfect. They're the perfect news station. And it's like, look at what they did to a family. Just think if they hadn't have done that,
Wait for it.
that marriage might have turned out very, very differently.
Yeah.
Just think about that.
Yeah.
Everybody's lives would have turned out so differently. And it's appalling. It's like unthinkable to think of the
Here it comes.
damage mentally, physically that the BBC did to the royal family. And not just the royal family, people that were very loyal to them.
Yes. I mean, Tiki was unbelievably loyal. Never gave interviews, never talked
Yeah.
about them. Total soul of discretion.
Never, ever.
No! God, please, no!
Yeah.
And the thing is, the nation listen, divorce, you never get involved in people's divorces, ever. That's one thing I've learned. But with everything that was being reported, Charles looked so bad,
Yeah.
so bad.
Yeah.
And the whole nation at that time were against him, and it was all for, about Diana. But it's, I get that. But if they hadn't have done that, maybe they could have got
Stop it.
their marriage back together, and, who knows what could have happened.
Yeah. The other royal thing that's been in the news is this big Tom Bower book about Meghan and Harry. Paints a pretty awful picture, actually, of the pair of them. And we have this bizarre speech by Harry on Nelson Mandela Day this week, sort of linking their own struggle for freedom with Nelson Mandela's 27 years in prison. What do you make of these two? What's going on with them?
Very good question.
I think they're lost, and I think that they're trying to find their place in the world. I think they're totally lost. One minute they're making a cartoon, then they're doing a documentary on them, now they're saving the world.
Okay.
They just haven't found their path in life yet. I really believe that. They're lost. They're floundering.
Should they be, but Sharon, my point is they can do what the hell they like, but should they be allowed to use the royal titles to fleece the system and make all this money and pretend to be like a rival royal family? That's what sticks in my gullet about it.
Yeah, I just don't. I haven't from day one been into the fact of, talking about private things that went on in the royal family.